The South African Medical Association, SAMA, has expressed concern about reports that newly appointed doctors have not received their salaries for January from the different provincial health departments in the country. SAMA says in a statement that it has taken drastic steps to ensure that payment is done accordingly. Meanwhile, the Director General of Health has made an undertaking that the doctors affected by the circular, which said they won't receive their salaries, will receive their salaries. Joining us in studio is Chairperson of the South African Medical Association, Dr. Angelique Coetzee. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. What happened?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. To Melan, to all our listeners out there in Sanbonyane. This is a total new thing that happened. Normally, this time of the year, we struggle with the placement of the interns. So preempted this and we sorted the placement out. So on Wednesday, I got a call that there was a circular sent out to all the doctors in Gauteng that was appointed the beginning of January. So it includes the interns, the community service doctors, and other doctors employed for the first time in Gauteng. So the circular that was sent out was telling them that they're not going to receive their salaries for the month of for January. They will only receive their monies before or by the 28th of February. And this was really a huge curveball coming from out of the blue. So SAMA then immediately took the necessary steps. We found the director, the DG of Health, and I asked her, is she aware of this? And she wasn't aware of this. So she phoned me back and said to me, after she went into this matter, said to me, it's only the Gauteng Department of Health that is currently a problem, all the other departments are fixed. And she spoke with the MEC of Gauteng and said to them, please, this doctors needs to be paid by the end of today. We have given them time till the end of tomorrow afternoon. Last week there was a meeting between the DG and the different departments, and she asked them to make sure that there will be monies available to pay these doctors. And they assured her that there will be monies, but apparently the Department of Treasury doesn't want to give any more funding to the Gauteng Department of Health. So there is apparently a problem between what is happening in Gauteng and Treasury. So, but that is their internal problem. That has got nothing to do with us. These doctors they worked for a full month. They are expected to get paid for the work that they've done. And some of them are young doctors, so the first time in their life they will receive a salary. So looking forward to a salary after you went through the trauma of the placement, of being an intern and not getting the place that you would like to get. So now all of a sudden you are now hearing that in Gauteng, maybe you're not going to get paid.
So you've intervened and you're
Yes.
trying to help. What's
Yes.
next?
So the DG was very adamant in her instructions to the Gauteng Department of Health that they must make money available. They should make sure that it's been paid by today, at the latest tomorrow late afternoon. And so now we are waiting and see what's going to happen. We have asked our members, and remember, even non-SAMA members, we have asked them all, if they don't receive their payments by end of working day tomorrow, they must please let us know. The young doctors are quite, as young doctors are, upset about this, and they are now starting to say that if they don't get their salaries, they are considering to strike on Monday. So hopefully that will not happen, and that we will be able, with the help of the DG, be able to sort this problem before it escalates any further.
Mm-hmm. We know that our public sector does struggle in terms of capacity. Last year there were 130 doctors that weren't able to be placed after they'd finished their studies. This year that's changed, but a new problem has come up.
Yes.
Do you think that it's a more systemic problem, or it's something that can be fixed quite quickly?
I think it's a systemic problem. It's a problem showing that there is somewhere in Department of Health on provincial level an incompetency to do their work properly there. And it should be fixed, and they should be kept responsible for what they are doing. So that's an internal problem. It's a problem of, as I said, not being able to take responsibility for what you are doing. So if there's no money, it's just no money, I'm not going to pay you. What we did last year, already at the end of October, we were anticipating again that there will be problems with the placement of the interns. So from SAMA's side, with the trade union department, with Dr. Edin Nguena and his team, so I started to work very, very closely with Department of Health, and that's why that problem was solved. All interns have been placed, although they're not all happy where they have been placed, but at least they have been placed. But now, as I've said, a curveball right from the blind side came to us 2 days ago and telling us that in Gauteng, they're not going to get paid.
We've been hearing, obviously, on the news, the Gauteng Health Department, the tragedy of the Life Esidimeni deaths and the lack of care that was shown there in Gauteng. Do you think this is a continuation? Do you think because maybe there's a vacuum in leadership there that we're seeing things like this?
Well, I think there's a lack in leadership. There's a lack in governance. There's a lack in accountability. There's a lack in understanding what is happening at ground level. You need to be hands-on if you want to be in a leadership position. It's all well and good to sit in your office, but you need to understand what is happening on ground level. You need to be informed. You don't need to be there physically yourself, but at least make sure that you have a team of reliable people. Listen to them, trust them, and go and see what is happening and try to solve the problem. From SAMA's side, we are always willing to help and assist because we understand, we know what is happening. We've got the expertise, we know. And I'm not saying that everyone in Department of Health can't do their work, but at some stage you need to admit there's a problem. I need to ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Our producers did try and contact the Gauteng Health Department so they could come in and speak to us. Perhaps we will get a chance to speak to them a little bit later on. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News. That was Dr. Angelique Coetzee, Chairperson of the South African Medical Association. Stephen, it's